This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Thursday, the 2nd day of February in the year 2023. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. In an effort to get more nurses in the system and ease the effects of the heavy migration of nurses, the Ministry of Health will be moving the registered nursing program from the classroom to an online format. The announcement was made today by Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony. Responding to questions from Opposition Member of Parliament Dr. Karen Cummings during the consideration of the budget estimates, the Health Minister said the move will now see more persons being trained as registered nurses as the government seeks to fill the void in human resources in the public healthcare system.
We are working very hard to launch a registered nursing program online. And as soon as that opens, we expect that we should be able to get about 1,000 persons applying to do registered nursing. This is a 3-year program, and every year we are hoping to attract at least 1,000 persons into that program.
The Health Minister admitted that there is a human resource deficit in the health sector, which is due to the exodus of registered nurses from Guyana to the United Kingdom and other parts of the Caribbean, which offer better salaries and working conditions. Dr. Anthony said with the expansion of the country's health sector and with new hospitals coming on stream, there is a need to have adequate human resources, and therefore the government will be working to ensure that every faculty in the profession is equipped.
So over time, we would be able to get the relevant human resource that we need to operate the system. We are also training people in pharmacy aid, and there are a whole host of other programs that we're working on simultaneously. We have decentralized some of these programs so we can get people from the respective regions to be trained.
It was announced that the government will be partnering with the online education platform Coursera to offer the nursing programs. It was explained that the government will be partnering with the online education platform Coursera to offer the online nursing program. The government plans to build at least 6 new hospitals this year, as well as expand and renovate others. The long talked about maternal and children hospital is also on the cards, the health minister reported. Just after taking office in 2020, the government suspended classes at the Charles Rosa School of Nursing in Linden for several months, claiming that too many persons from the community of Linden were being recruited and trained as nurses. But since then, the ministry has seen registered nurses leaving Guyana in large numbers to take up new and better job opportunities. More news coming up in just a moment.
It's been a long time coming. Overdue, some might say, but now that it's here, it will change life forever, and it is here to stay. The future is now, transforming Guyana into the 21st century. Introducing GTT Fiber. Experience internet connectivity like never before. Speeds you deserve at prices you can afford from a name you can trust. Sign up today. GTT Fiber is here. GTT. Together, we rise faster.
Giftland Office Max, we're all about customer satisfaction. Whether it's clothing and shoes for the ladies, gents, and kids, or for the latest electronics or hardware appliance, we're always thinking of satisfying you, our dear customers. Now you can shop online at www.giftlandofficemax.com or visit us at the Giftland Mall, where we're happy to serve each and every one of you.
At the most critical life-changing moments, the National Insurance Scheme is here to ensure that your needs are covered. Access reimbursement for medical expenses for various aspects of your medical care. We know that eye care is of utmost importance. Receive assistance with our Spectacle Care voucher. Visiting the dentist? Dental care is also covered under our sickness benefit services. Offset the funeral expenses of a loved one with costs covered by our funeral benefits. National Insurance Scheme. We're there every step of the way.
Get in the game with Buster. Win a full gaming setup, Xbox X, gaming chair, gaming speaker and headset, or any of over 60 weekly prizes like Oculus Quest 2, Mini 2 drone, Nintendo Switch, and many more top gaming prizes. Check below for details.
Let's tell you now that a two-day government outreach to Region 6 began today with a number of government ministries and departments participating. The outreach is aimed at identifying and addressing the concerns of Berbice residents. According to President Finale, he intends to hold similar outreaches across the country.
So every issue that you have will be dealt here centrally, and we're hoping not only to have those issues heard, but to see how much of it, we want almost all of it to be taken to finality so that you don't have the bureaucracy or hassle.
The president said his orders have been clear that every ministry and government agency must reach out more to the people. He said while the major infrastructure and other developments taking place across the country are important, the people who face daily challenges must also be heard.
This is a level of seriousness that we are taking in dealing with your issues. It is not passing the buck, but it's bringing the heads and the agency heads here so that they can work with you. You know, I said before, the big transformative projects are very important. The transformative infrastructure is very important. But the transformation of people's lives requires much more than that. It requires us taking responsibility for ourselves.
Last year, the president announced that Berbice will be transformed in the coming years with its own stadium, airport, and an oil refinery. He repeated that promise at this morning's meeting.
This region is going to be transformed tremendously. We have some big announcements that are coming well, not coming close. They're already at the end of the tape. And you will see actual work commencing on some major initiatives in this region.
During the two-day outreach, a number of government initiatives will be rolled out and explained to members of the Berbice community. While the long and contentious issue of flashing lights and sirens in private vehicles made its way once again to the floor of the National Assembly. Opposition Member of Parliament Gita Chandan Edmond today, during the consideration of budget estimates, said the issue is a worrying one for the public that the government does not appear too worried about. The former magistrate said the use of flashing lights and sirens on private vehicles is at a crisis level, since persons who are not authorized to have the lights on their vehicles have been using them during peak hours and causing chaos on the roadways.
Police type lights are available for sale and people put them up and misuse them. There are a few situations for senior officials and also for diplomats where we have to have reciprocity in relation to the use of lights for emergency purposes and to be able to get to situations which require meetings or to respond to emergency situations.
The existing laws allow for emergency vehicles only to use the flashing emergency lights and those sirens. Police and fire service vehicles and ambulances are the only vehicles authorized to carry sirens and flashing lights. Any other type of vehicle fitted with those appliances will represent a breach of the law. However, several vehicles transporting government ministers and other state officials have been spotted with sirens and flashing lights. The opposition member of parliament said all of those vehicles would be operating in contravention of the laws. The Home Affairs Minister dodged the direct concern raised, but said there may be a tweaking of the legislation coming.
We have to tweak the legislation to take account of the changed situations. We have more traffic on the road and people can't get to where they want in time or when there's a situation, but we have to deal with that issue.
Just recently, a number of diplomatic vehicles were noticed with sirens and flashing emergency lights attached. When the matter was raised with the police, the Public Relations Department said permission was granted by the Home Affairs Minister and the Police Commissioner via the Traffic Chief. That permission was granted even after the police force and the Home Affairs Minister both publicly declared last year that it was illegal for vehicles other than the listed emergency vehicles to carry sirens and emergency flashing lights.
Anson Mini Mart is now open to serve your everyday wants and needs. Our experienced pharmacists will help you feel your best, ensuring you bring home everything you need. We guarantee you will come back for everything you want. Our team is friendly. Our shelves are stocked and ready. Hassle-free shopping for your busy life. Anson Mini Mart, everyday shopping made easy. From our home to yours. Anson Mini Mart is now open to serve you. Call 220-0505 or check out our Anson Guyana Facebook page for more details.
One day after he led Kanu agents on a high-speed chase that ended when his car crashed into a trench, revealing several pounds of marijuana, Vigilance resident Oderi Phillips appeared in court today and was remanded to jail until the 20th of March. Phillips was arrested on Wednesday in Buxton after being chased by Kanu agents. The car he was driving was found with more than 50 pounds of marijuana in the trunk. The 25-year-old man pleaded not guilty to the offense of possession of narcotics for the purpose of trafficking. He was refused bail during his virtual court appearance at the Vigilance Magistrates Court and remanded to jail. In a statement last evening, the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit said during its operations, which led into the Buxton community yesterday, members of the public became hostile and assaulted several of its ranks and damaged some of the unit's vehicles in an attempt to free Phillips, who was in custody. Kanu said it fired several warning shots before leaving the scene with the suspect. A group of residents started a fiery protest yesterday that saw tires being set on fire on the roadway. A truck was also set alight during that protest. The debris on the roadway was eventually cleared by the joint services and the protest ended. In its ongoing crackdown on the narco trade in the country, the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit arrested Norton Street businessman Kurt Brown, also known as Cocotte, with 42 pounds of marijuana in his possession. That bust took place on Wednesday during a Kanu operation. Acting on information, agents descended on the man's Norton Street premises and carried out searches. During the search operation, the large quantity of marijuana was discovered in several large bags. Kanu said the 50-year-old man was immediately told of the narcotics trafficking offense and placed under arrest. He will remain in custody until his court appearance, which is likely before the end of the week. Kanu said the confiscated marijuana carries a street value of $5.9 million. There has been no other arrest in this case.
Anson Mini Mart is now open to serve your everyday wants and needs. Our experienced pharmacists will help you feel your best, ensuring you bring home everything you need. We guarantee you will come back for everything you want. Our team is friendly. Our shelves are stocked and ready. Hassle-free shopping for your busy life. Anson Mini Mart, everyday shopping made easy. From our home to yours. Anson Mini Mart is now open to serve you. Call 220-0505 or check our Anson Macau Guyana Facebook page for more details.
Food Max Supermarket, located on the ground floor of the Giftland Mall, is your one-stop shop for all your grocery needs. We stock a variety of imported frozen meat and food products, fresh produce, and pet supplies, freshly made bread. Rotisserie chicken and patties are also available daily. Shop in comfort today at Food Max and let our courteous staff assist you in satisfying your shopping needs. Food Max, the fresh food specialist.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Get in the game with Buster. Win a full gaming setup, Xbox X, gaming chair, gaming speaker and headset, or any of over 60 weekly prizes like Oculus Quest 2, Mini 2 drone, Nintendo Switch, and many more top gaming prizes. Check below for details.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Across the region tonight, authorities in El Salvador have opened one of Latin America's largest prisons, more than doubling the country's incarceration capacity, as the government crackdown on criminal gangs is causing the prison population to soar. The 40,000 capacity terrorism confinement center was inaugurated on Tuesday to help relieve some of the overpopulation in the country's prison system. Since President Nayib Bukele asked the country's Congress to approve a state of exception back in March, the police and army have arrested more than 62,000 suspected gang members and their collaborators. Under the measure, some constitutional rights have been suspended, including allowing authorities to make arrests without a warrant and giving the government access to citizens' communication. With nearly 2% of its adult population behind bars, El Salvador has the highest incarceration rate in the world. The Congress in Peru has again voted against bringing general elections forward to December this year. Early elections are one of the key demands of protesters who have been staging almost daily demonstrations for the past 7 weeks, since then President Pedro Castillo was ousted. The proposal for early elections is backed by his successor Dina Boluarte, but the Congress is deeply divided. Monday's vote was the third attempt to move the elections to this year. Peru was plunged into crisis back in December when Pedro Castillo tried to dissolve Congress in order to stave off an impeachment vote against him. Congress ignored his attempt to dissolve the legislature and proceeded with his impeachment. Mr. Castillo was arrested and is in prison facing charges of rebellion and conspiracy. Dina Boluarte, his vice president, denounced what she said had been an attempt at a coup, and she was sworn in by the Congress as the country's new president. At first, she said she would serve out the full presidential term until its end in 2026. But within days, with the country hit by nationwide protests, she urged the Congress to bring the election forward. Lawmakers agreed to move the date of the election to April 2024. And finally tonight, international news. The U.S. government has resettled a Guantanamo Bay detainee in Belize after the former Al-Qaeda courier finished serving his sentence. The 42-year-old man was held in the high-security detention facility in Cuba for over 15 years. He was sentenced in 2021 to 10 years with credit for the years he spent cooperating with U.S. personnel. His resettlement marks the first time U.S. President Joe Biden's administration has transferred a detainee. The U.S. government is aiming to responsibly reduce the detainee population at Guantanamo Bay and ultimately close the facility, the U.S. Department of Defense said. The former Al-Qaeda member who now lives in Belize was one of the better-known prisoners at the Guantanamo Bay facility, which is a U.S. military prison that once housed hundreds of suspected militants captured following the 9/11 attacks. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.